Hey everybody, my name is Lara Schilling. I am 23 years old as of March 2012. I live in Sydney, Australia, and I have a disease called systemic lupus erythematosus. Now, it sounds scary. It's better known as lupus. Dr. House says it's never lupus, but there are many cases in the world where it actually is lupus, and it's not a fun disease to have, really. You've probably stumbled across this video through either a search or a related video, because this is not really what I normally post on my channel, but I figured I might, just to give a bit of insight and a bit of education to some people who don't really understand what I go through and how I live my life. It's really hard to explain to somebody that doesn't know what this disease is, how you have to live with it. It's just like any other chronic illness, like a mental illness or a neurological illness, and particularly a physical illness. So it's, believe me, it's not fun. So I'm going to be telling my story throughout this video. So it's going to be in segments with a question at the beginning and then my side of the story. So keep watching. Do I really look that healthy to you? Yeah, I might look like a normal 20-something-year-old, but oh, believe me, I'm not. Okay, so lupus is a type of disease called an autoimmune disease. Auto means self and immune means defense. So basically the body just attacks, your own immune system attacks your own body. It basically commits genocide against your own body, and it's a very complicated thing, and it's just like you get a cold and your body can't fight that cold off. Your immune system fights off bacteria, infection, viruses, and all that sort of stuff. It's what keeps the bad things out of your body. And unfortunately, in most cases, the autoimmune means that your immune system is overactive, but for the wrong reason. And it produces all these proteins and antibodies that get out into your bloodstream, into your organs and everything, creates havoc. Some other types of autoimmune diseases are rheumatoid arthritis. That can affect anybody too, surprisingly. Arthritis is not just an old age thing. Anybody can have arthritis because there's so many different types. Rheumatoid's the one that can deform. And other diseases are celiac disease, which is a gluten intolerance, Crohn's disease, which is the inflammation of the intestine. And what's another one? I'm just trying to think of one off the top of my head. That one starting with S, I can't pronounce it. It's connected with lupus, and it's usually it's named after someone's Soyer's. I have no idea that particular disease. But yeah, they're all autoimmune conditions, and they're not very fun to live with. This disease is so vast, and you get every case is different. There are so many different symptoms. You only have to have at least 4 of them to be classed as having lupus, but not everyone has the same symptoms. The most common symptoms are arthritic pain, that's inflammation of the joints, tiredness, and a rash around your cheeks called a malar rash. Now, as you can tell, I really don't have it, and it's a very common indicator, but not everybody has it. It's like something like 1% of the sufferers will have this or something. But anyway, my symptoms are extreme exhaustion, chronic fatigue. I have pretty bad joints. They click, they crack, they do things. They're very painful. I have very similar symptoms to fibromyalgia, which includes a lot of aches and pains in my muscles, just random nerve pain everywhere, and it, like, doing things, it is just a lot harder. I wake up some mornings and my joints are very stiff. I've got stiff neck, stiff shoulders, and then I get moving and it's like, oh, it feels like crap. And I don't sleep very well. I either sleep for 12 hours or I sleep for a few and have very intermittent sleep. It's very interrupted as well. I don't feel my best any time of the day. It's the 4th of March 2012 now. I've had a cold for 2 months. My body cannot defend. I can take as many medications as I want, and what I can take I can take antibiotics and they won't do anything. I can use I get eczema as well. I'm also very sensitive to sunlight. I get a bit I sometimes can't go outside because it's just so hot and the sun's just burning. I feel my skin burns the moment I go in. I used to go into the sun and I used to be really dark as a child. I used to love the sun. I sometimes got heat rash, but I tanned. I used to tan. I do not tan anymore. Instead, I either burn or I break out into eczema, and it's usually in these parts of my arms and all up here and down here. It just feels like I've been like burnt, or just I've been like exposed to something I'm really allergic to. Well, pretty much I have, but like, you know, those rashes you get, the hives that you get when you like touch poison ivy or something. It's just a really bad reaction. And yeah, the nerve pain. If you feel a bit of a pain somewhere like in your back and you touch it and the area doesn't hurt, but the actual muscle doesn't hurt. But sometimes you get confused because sometimes the muscle does hurt and you end up thinking it's nerve pain, then think it's muscular, then you actually realize it's your bloody joint that's going. So yeah, the arthritis sucks. And just the energy levels, it doesn't matter how well you eat, how much you exercise, how little you weigh, how much weight you do lose. If the moment you catch a bug, you just feel off your face, rotten as hell. And yeah, there's really not much left. Yeah, it has taken 9 years to diagnose. It takes time. Some people get a diagnosis almost instantly, some they don't know for 15, 20 years. But for me, it has been 9 years. When I was about 14, I started getting pretty bad pains in my shoulders, and after seeing a few doctors, we got some blood tests back, and they came back with a positive ANA, and an ANA is an anti-nuclear antibody. It's a type of protein that or something like that the immune system generates, and it destroys localized cells. In a normal person, a normal reading is less than 1 in 40. It's measured 1 in a number, and it's also got a pattern to it, but I'm not sure what the relation is between the pattern and how it affects your body. I started getting really high readings, like it has to be 1 in 600 to be considered lupus. I already had that reading at 14. It went down for a few years and then came back, and now it's sitting. My pathology has not been giving exact numbers because I don't know why, but it says it's greater than 1 in 1280, which is extremely high. It's reached 1 in 5,000, and that was extremely scary. And yeah, that's pretty much the basic test. Another test, another sort of another test that's done is the ESR, which is I can't pronounce the word. Something to do with it's to do with the how rapidly red blood cells precipitate in a split blood sample. You know, it's measured in millimeters per hour, and usually a normal person's reading would be under 25, I think, or under 15. I really can't remember, but mine's always been elevated throughout my entire life, and that particular test proves that there's inflammation in the body. Another test I've been screened for and that has come back as an indicator is the C-reactive protein, which is produced by the liver, and that's, if it comes back high, it usually means that there's inflammation. So lupus is a disease of pretty much inflammation. It can attack any part of the body. Skin inflammation, joint inflammation, muscle inflammation, and the worst part is it can affect major organs such as the heart, the lungs, the kidneys. Most commonly it's the kidneys, and there's also urine tests that you need to get. Just make sure there's no proteins. Last test I had came back clear, so I'm happy about that. I don't have any problems with my lungs or any other parts of my body. I have been diagnosed with a small murmur, but that could be just an innocent murmur. We'll see what that is. But yeah, so definitely the main sort of diagnosis criteria is that rash on your face, the butterfly rash on your cheeks. But as I mentioned before, I do not have that, and that's why it has been very, very difficult to pinpoint the disease. I've been diagnosed with autoimmune arthritis. Probably would have been better with mixed connective tissue disorder, which sounds like what I've got, but because of that ANA, I'm positive for lupus. I've been tested for celiac disease. I've yet to be tested for Crohn's because it still could be Crohn's disease. That's done via colonoscopy. To be tested for celiac, that's done by endoscopy, which is camera down the throat. That came back negative. I've come back negative for diabetes. That would have probably been one of my symptoms. Chronic fatigue is one symptom of diabetes, and it does run in my family. But it's not that, but I still am at risk of an I can't say it, an endocrine disease, basically. So thyroid is also a bit slow, so that's normal, and well, that's not normal. That's normal for a lupus patient. Also, it can be it can go hand in hand with fibromyalgia, which is another disease I show many, many symptoms of. So it's just pain and tiredness, really. They're the big contributors towards the disease, and the pathology lab can just confirm that. Okay, so there are a few things I really need to take care of because lupus is not curable. There's no cure. It can come on its own, it can just be sudden, it can go on its own. I know somebody who had been diagnosed with lupus many, many years ago and now shows absolutely no symptoms. The symptoms come in what we call flare-ups. When you do have a flare coming on, it can last a few days up to a few years, and in my case it has been years. So it's been very rough for the last few years for me personally. Anyway, I have to take an antimalarial. The drug's called hydroxychloroquine, and the brand name's Plaquenil. It's a funny little drug. It's like a disease-modifying drug. It works on the immune system. They don't know how it works. It just does work in lupus patients. I've been on that particular drug before, and I haven't had any luck with it. I didn't really have any results. My ANA went down, but that's about it. But it didn't actually modify how my body was reacting to all the antibodies. So I'm trying it again, and we'll see. We'll hope for the best. I'm on it for 6 months. I also take a Cymbalta because I do have an anxiety disorder, and I was on Lexapro for a while, but that wasn't working, and I was taking a very, very low dose as well. But I find that Cymbalta helps control my anxiety levels, and having this disease brings on a lot of anxiety, and it messes with your head, really. It just... I can't tell you how bad some of these things are, because, yeah, it's insane. It affects everything about you. But anyway... So I take Cymbalta to control my anxiety, and it's also been approved to be used for fibromyalgia, and so it does help a bit with the nerve pain. It's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. Other things I other drugs I take codeine. I sometimes am able to get a prescription because the pain's so bad. I can't take NSAIDs because those upset my stomach, and they haven't been very effective in removing inflammation either. So I'm really stuck for choices. I get muscular knots a lot, so I'm having a massage, a good shiatsu remedial, deep tissue every week or so, just to relieve that. And a lot of pressure point therapy. I have tried acupuncture without any avail. I've tried diet modification, exercise, and really it doesn't do much. You're just stuck with all this pain and energy loss. You have to deal with that. Anyway, so another treatment I do is have a hot bath. That's why, like, if you don't know what I usually post on YouTube, if you go to my channel, you'll find a lot of videos for a company called Lush. They make bath products and other cosmetics, and I just drop one of their bath bombs or bubble baths into the bath, a hot bath or a cool bath if it's really, really hot. And I just sit there for a bit and relax. I've got a really small bathtub, so I have to move around a bit, but a hot bath sometimes helps relieve joint pain, especially after a long day at school, and I get my cramps. I'm pretty sure, like, I get a lot of cramps in that thumb, and the muscle's very, very, it's a bit weak as well, so I have to, like, soak it in hot water. I also use some natural pain treatments, topical ointments. I use a peppermint and cinnamon based massage oil, which is also from Lush. It's a solid one called Wiki Magic. It helps a little bit, but sometimes I really need to take pain medication, and that will be prescription codeine, really. There's not really much else I can do about it except just wait out for the flare to calm down. And especially because if you've got another problem like a cold or a viral illness, it's just so hard to shake them off, and you're just not going to get better. You can try as many things as you want, but you can't get rid of it. Having lupus gives me a less than normal life. Um, my body has just corrupted itself, really. It feels like I'm older. I'm a lot older than I really am. It plays havoc on your social life, your work life, your professional life, your study, if you're a student, it really affects that. And it affects your mental health really badly. There are days where I'm just so tired and feel so hopeless and helpless. I can't do anything. I'm just so tired. I'm not sleepy tired. My body is just in such a state where it doesn't want to react to commands from my brain saying you need to walk, you need to move. And I get very tired very easily, and my biochemistry, ironically, is actually pretty good, except for my iron and possibly B12, but I've got that mostly normal, so it's not always that is making me tired, because even if they are normal, I'm still tired. It's just that sheer tiredness plays havoc on my social life. I can't go out as much anymore. Lately I've just not been doing anything. I've been sitting at home during the week, except for the days I go to college, and maybe go out once on the weekend. And there being not many clubs on to go to, even like when I go to clubs, I really don't do anything. I don't have the energy to stand around. I sometimes drink, but I often don't feel like drinking. I don't take drugs or anything. You'd think that it'd come to that point, but sometimes I do wish I could experiment, could have fun, go to more parties, be invited to more parties, actually feel like I'm able to commute places. I haven't commuted anywhere in Sydney apart from the city in the last few months that has been by public transport. I really just don't have the energy to do that, and I don't have much energy to be creative either. I can't work. I don't have the energy to go to work, particularly commuting. I don't drive, so I have to take public transport and buses and trains, walking. Oh, I used to be able to walk kilometers on end every day, and now it's just, I can walk up the road and just be like, I feel like I've run a marathon. You just feel it doesn't matter how much energy you consume, it doesn't matter how many vitamins you take. It doesn't matter how much you exercise, you can't. It's just hard to exercise, actually. You can consume as much sugar, you can consume as much caffeine, you just end up feeling really sick at the end. And it feels like even when I don't get any sleep, I feel sick. I feel nauseous, sick to the stomach, and walking up the stairs hurts. Walking up to even like around my college hurts my legs, and sitting in class is just a nightmare some days. I just don't have the energy to even do that. Like, some nights I lie in bed and I'm just so out of it that I'm not I sit at the TV and I'm just like, oh yeah. And then I got to take painkillers, which even put me a bit more out of it, and it's not a fun life to live. I'm pretty much a vegetable being that's able to move. It just hurts to move. I feel every last inch of my body aching, and my joints click. I tried to do Pilates for a while, but because my joints are so bad, it's a low impact exercise, but because of my joints, it hurts. It actually hurts to do those movements, and it hurts to stand on my feet. It hurts to do everything. I've built up heaps of muscle tone, but it just did not help at all. It's just, I feel helpless, really. I feel hopeless and helpless. I can't do anything, really. I can't draw, I can't do any of my crafts. My hands get so sore so easily. I gave up making synthetic dreads because it got that bad, and I think soon enough I'm gonna have to give up everything else. And I don't know, I have such big aspirations for my future, but whilst I'm ill, I don't feel that I can do it. I don't feel that I have the energy to actually do that, and it makes me sad. It makes me really, really sad. And I don't know how many people I have friends and everything, and I have my parents, but I'm not going to have them forever. I mean, they're in their 60s now, so, maybe probably another 10 years before they start getting sick themselves, you know? And it's just all starting, and I will have real big problems being independent if it just ends up being, like, if my disease just progresses. I'm just glad for now that my major organs aren't actually being attacked, and no one really understands. I'm disabled. I'm actually disabled. I'm not in a wheelchair. I can move. I'm just not able to move. I move too well. That's my problem. I'm hypermobile. But it's just very painful. It's tiring and painful. And you can't commit yourself to anything. You have to work your day around your disease. You don't work your disease around your day. You have to make things as convenient and as easy as possible for yourself. You can't put others before you. You can't do favors. You just don't have the energy to do all that. It's not easy at all. As I said, I feel hopeless. I don't feel that I have any purpose left. I could do whatever I want and work as hard as I can, but sometimes I just feel like giving up. Okay, so I hope this video has given you something to think about, and help you better understand my predicament. Even if you don't fully understand, you can just accept that it exists, it's real. This is how I feel about it. This is how I am, and this is what I'm stuck with for the rest of my life. I don't know how long I'll live. I don't know how short I'll live. I don't know if I'll get better. I don't know when I'll get better. And I'm very unclear about anything right now. So I hope you found this video insightful. Anyway, if you also have lupus or any other autoimmune disease, feel free to contact me, You can drop me an inbox message on YouTube and pass this video along to friends, family, anybody you know that has lupus or knows somebody living with lupus and is having a hard time understanding what it does to your body and what it does to your mind. It's it's destructive in both ways. It's very crazy. It's stupid. I wish I didn't have it, but I do. And there's really not much left. So, yeah. Hopefully in my next few videos I'll be a bit more cheerier. But, when I get back to my Lush videos, and, but yeah, I hope that you find this helpful and it's insightful, informative, blah, blah, blah. Subscribe, rate, you know that, comment. But I really would love to hear from others who share the same experiences as me, because I know I'm not alone, but I just do feel alone amongst my own social group. Anyway, look forward to hearing from everybody, and have a good day, night, wherever you are in the world. And greetings from down under. Bye.